Okay, so my name is Najma A. I just finished my junior year at Elk Grove High School, so I'm going to be starting to be a senior this fall. Um, so my mentor is Anu. She's a mechanical engineer at Amazon, and so she's helped develop the e-readers on Amazon. She helped develop a low-cost infant incubator, and she's also even helped design a toilet also. And so she's done a lot of different things in her job. Anu likes to do walks and participate in 5K runs, and she loves to cook and try different kind of foods, and that's really neat. And it was really nice to meet her through this program. Okay, so for my magical experience, so we first got to know each other and went to different discussions at Starbucks or at the library, or sometimes she visited my home. So our first thing we did, we went to Pace Art Technology Gallery. So it had different Japanese art, and it had these arts. A lot of them were made in real time, so it wasn't just a painting that would just sit on a wall. A lot of them were made from LED lights and different displays, and they were if you would step closer to it, it would become more reactive and change. If you step farther from it, it was more still and calm. So it was a really interesting gallery to visit, and this is one of the pictures here. This was a light room that changed colors, and you would click screen and click a design like a spiral, some kind of galaxy swirl, and it would display it. So it was a really great place to visit. We did smaller projects along the way before I decided what I wanted to do. So we conducted a small experiment to test surface tension. So we had different cups of water at different temperatures, and we'd put a small piece of paper and then start stacking paper clips to see how many paper clips each different cup of water can hold. And that would show the varying temperatures and how surface tension would hold it up. So if something held more paper clips, it had a higher surface tension. If it had less paper clips, it had a lower surface tension. So the cups of water that had the lower temperatures had the higher surface tension and was able to hold more paper clips in a sense. For my project, I was able to 3D print a mold and be able to make my own soap and be able to put into the mold and be able to use it at home. And I also made my own detergent and tested the effects of different detergents on plant growth. And I used this having different dilutions. So I had 50%, I had 25%, I had 6% for dilutions for each detergent, and I had 3 different kinds. And so I was testing for the toxicity of these different plants on the effect on germination of plants. So my hypothesis was that the green detergent, one that was claimed to be green, would have a lower toxicity than conventional detergent. Then there should be little to no effect on the growth of plants. And so how I did it, I watered the plants each day by watering just 5 milliliters of each different dilution. So they were all the same type of plant, and I recorded the length of the plant at the beginning and at the end of every week after watering. And so my hypothesis that the green detergent was going to have little to no effect and it would be just like the control, but actually my results were incorrect. My homemade detergent performed the best, and it was more closely to the control. And so it was recorded in centimeters, but I didn't write it down right there. But from the 3 different dilutions, it was the one that was 6% for homemade that performed the most closely to the control. And so it was the one that was considered the least non-toxic because it allowed for the plants to grow regularly. So next part is my homemade soap bar, and so I have that with me today, and the soap mold. And so making the soap bar, so we had lye, which is sodium hydroxide, and we reacted that with water. And so after the reaction, it was exothermic, so it got really hot. And so after it heated together, we mixed that with our lavender scent and the other oils, canola oil, coconut oil, and olive oil. And so we mixed it all together until it became trace, which is a yellow kind of somewhat to pudding kind of texture. And so after that, we put it into our soap mold that had our wax paper in it, so it was able to move. And so the reaction that happened, so we had our triglycerides and our alkali, which was sodium hydroxide, and the oils mixed together. So it made the neat soap, which was our saponified oils, and the glycerin that was meant to use for cleaning and giving moisture, and then the water that was present in the reactants and products. And so here's some of the pictures. So right here I have just the coconut oil. Then I mixed the oils together, heated in the microwave, and right here I was mixing together the water and sodium hydroxide because it's quite reactive, so it has a lot of fumes that come out, so I had to make sure my face was not too close to it. And after it was reactive, I mixed it with all the oils and started mixing it, and it became like this kind of pudding kind of substance. And so then I would put it into my mold, and then after 12 hours I took out the mold, and then after each week I would flip it over so it gets to dry, and so it doesn't get because the soap likes to absorb moisture from the air. So if I let it flip it over, it doesn't allow for like bacteria and little particles in air to like get stuck to it. So what I learned from this program, I got really familiar with Google SketchUp, and that's where I made my 3D design, and my mentor printed it out at her work at Amazon, and so I have that with me today as well. And so it's quite simple to make household products that are easily accessible to you for the materials at store. And so it just shows that you can make anything at home with just the simple materials, and it doesn't have to be complicated with like a list of like 100 ingredients. And that growing mung bean sprouts were difficult. At the beginning, my plants I use right now was like a grass plant, but first I was going to grow mung bean sprouts and then add the detergent and everything, but they didn't grow at all, like all of them. So I bought the plants that are already like grown, and so then I just added detergents and then started my experiment from there. And also learned about the importance of keeping good communication, staying top of meetings, because it's hard to balance my schedule with my mentor's schedule. So just finding that time and able to meet and have those discussions. So, and keeping contact if things come up and back and forth. So it was a great experience overall. So thank you.